Aruba Networks is a global leader in secure wireless networking. Director of Marketing for the EMEA region is Roger Hockaday.
Well, Aruba's been working with Johnson King for some 3 years now. Initially, the relationship was run out of the US, and at the beginning of this year, I took over the relationship. And it's a great relationship. In fact, I'm very lucky. I've been working with Johnson King myself for something like the last 10 or 15 years with 4 different companies, 5 different companies, all of whom chose Johnson King as their PR agency. And although the teams have changed in that time, it's always been very much the same relationship. It's a trusted relationship, really. They're very much an extension of the marketing organisation. Great company to work with. For the German marketplace, for the French marketplace, for the UK marketplace, Johnson King will take those pieces of technology and translate that into the things that the readership want to read about and the issues of the day. They're very good at doing that. But really how to translate that technology into what the journalists want to write about and what the readership of the journalists want to read about, which is the business issues. They're all different teams, but they work as one organisation very closely. And here I've got a group of people that I trust, but who can actually manage my time for me and tell me when something's important and when it needs to be done. And that's very important. They're a great bunch of team players, they really are. Both internally within their own organisation, but also with the German and the French teams. They're a very close-knit part of our own team, our own marketing team, both in the US and here in the UK. They integrate very well. It's very nice to work with them. It's very enjoyable to work with them. And the one thing that I consistently see is those countries in which we're not using a PR agency want a PR agency because they see the results that Johnson King get for us. Clearly we see that there's a benefit to brand awareness that comes out of it. I've sat in the car with salespeople and they've had calls, and the caller says, I've seen the article in this particular magazine and I want to know more about your product. Our salesmen tell us that with good PR in the country, the sort of PR that we get created for us by Johnson King, that actually makes their life a lot easier in calling contacts for the first time because they've heard our company name before, but also smooths the sales cycle as well. It shortens the sales cycle for us. When the salesman calls up a prospective customer, they've heard of us already, and that's very important. It helps to justify the buying decision as well, because when the end user takes the choice of company to their higher management, they've heard of the company before as well. That validation of the company name by brand awareness is one of the key elements that good PR brings to us. Everyone's looking for validation of the brand, of the name and of the technology. Johnson King have helped us to build a very strong relationship with the journalists in the various marketplaces in Europe. One of the things that Johnson King has enabled us to do is to actually produce most of the PR from our company out of Europe. In fact, one of the companies that I worked for recently, over 75% of its total PR output actually came from within the European marketplace, and that was press that Johnson King created for the company. Johnson King are also our eyes and ears on the marketplace. They can see when articles that are relevant to us have come up and create responses for us. I don't have to worry about writing those responses. Johnson King do it for us. They send it to me for a quick once over. Actually, it's very rarely that I have to do anything to those articles. They're usually perfect. And then we send the response back in. Those responses have to be back in within a matter of hours, not days. So they're very proactive. Johnson King are a great business asset for us, but they're also a very professional organisation. They're very dynamic, very responsive. It doesn't really matter who I have to deal with in the office here, or in fact in any of the other countries. I can trust them all implicitly. And I know in communicating with one of them, I'm actually communicating with all of them. They form an integral part of our marketing organisation within Aruba.